Hairete, salvete, welcome once again to the English episode of the Nummi loquuntur coins talk cycle. I'd like to say a few words today about coin forgery. Coin forgery is almost as old as the invention of coinage itself. In ancient times, however, cheating was mainly done on metal, so-called suberati, so coins with a base metal core were produced, minted both in official means and already completely legally outside them. So we can show here one of the earliest coins. It's a hemi-hector minted for Aliates, king of, here you can see lion's head, king of Lydia. And there is a mus hemi-hector, so a half of the previous unit, suberatus, with the base metal copper core. But forgeries, on the detriment of collectors, emerged with the development of ancient coin collecting in the 16th century. A separate chapter on forgeries had already appeared in Antonio Agustin's Dialogos de Medallas, Inscriciones, otras, antiguedades, published in Tarragona in 1587, and in a Latin version in 1592 in Rome, Dialoghi di Don Antonio Agostino intorno alle medailles, inscrizioni e altre antichità. And we can read in this chapter de las medallas falsas y literas falsas y de las que han escrito de medallas e inscripciones. Already in this book appeared the term paduano, because in the 16th century, talented sculptor and engraver Giovanni de Cavino, who spent most of his life in Padua, produced a lot of coins described in the 20th century, among others, by Richard O. Lawrence in this booklet, The Paduans, Medals by Giovanni Cavino. But the term itself was known already in the 16th century, and then in many manuals on ancient coins, for example, in La Science des Médailles by the French Jesuit Louis Jobert. You can see here the Paris edition published 20 years after Jobert's death in 1739, and there is a chapter 10 de Fous Médailles de différentes manières de le contrefaire et de la façon de en découvrir aisément la fossette. So I can use here an English translation made by Roger Gale and published in 1715. So it's of counterfeit medals, of the different ways to counterfeit them, and the way easily to discover the cheat. And Jobert writes, among others, of all the instructions we have given, none is more necessary for young beginners than this. For if they study it not with attention, they will be very easily caught, especially when the passion for medals is in its first head, and they are rich enough not to value any cost. They see themselves given up every day to the fraud and avarice of the selling merchants for want of due understanding their tricks and artifices. And so on. Jobert discusses here several cheats, and he describes, among others, different types of coins, not only paduans, but also parmesans or carterons in Holland as types of ancient, mostly cast forgeries. So let me show you some of such. Many paduans were produced, of course, to deceive collectors, but not always. They served as well to compete in craftsmanship with ancient masters and to provide more accurate, better preserved designs for engravers. And they allowed some collectors to have very rare pieces. You can see here one of such rare coins, sestertius, minted for Nerva, with a design of congiarium on the reverse. It's a type according to Roman imperial coinage number 56. But we have a paduan too. We can compare them. Of course, the state of preservation is much better in the case of the early modern medal. You can easily read the entire legend. Imperator, Nerva, Caesar, Augustus, Pontifex Maximus, Tribunicia Potestate, Consul, Iterum, Pater Patriae, and on the reverse, Congiar, for Congiarium, Populi Romani, or Populo Romano Datum, and SC Senatus Consulto. Of course, some types appeared that never existed. For example, this sestertius minted theoretically for Otho, but in fact for the first time in the 16th century. Imperator Otto, Kaiser Augustus, Tribunicia Potestate. And we know pretty well that there were no bronze imperial coinage under Otto. And we can find other types, for example, Lawrence 58, this magnificent medallion minted for Marcus Aurelius, still as Caesar under Antoninus Pius, with the Argo ship on the reverse and Minerva standing here, standing left. So the original is extremely rare. So such paduans are relatively rare too, but already much more collectors could have such a piece in their collections. And there are sometimes that remained a kind of mystery even in the 20th century. For example, this piece of metal, this medal, I would say, with Faustina Junior, Faustina II, and this lovely reverse with the carpentum drawn by two moles. It appears in the third volume of Roman imperial coinage by Harold Mattingly and Edward A. Sydenham, but with the additional information, but the genuineness of coin is doubtful. Yes, is doubtful indeed, but it's still the coin with a number in the most important reference catalog. And another extremely interesting type belonging to this early modern type of forgeries is this sestertius, minted on the occasion of the consecration, deification of Pertinax, and theoretically minted under Septimius Severus. You can see that it can be a cast medal, not a struck coin, but if we take Roman Imperial Coinage Volume 4, you will find this type, Consecratio, Senatus Consultor, eagle standing front on globe, head left. It's a very rare type, R4, and we have here used to have the drapery, and we can find the illustration as well. So there is a plate 3, and you can see here this picture, and you can see that it's it is actually the same coin, not the same piece, but a cast from the same model. The shape is nearly identical. Of course, we have here a very old picture, old, not the best one, reproduction, and reverse is the same, in the same shape too. When we take another important reference book, Coins of the Roman Empire in the British Museum, Volume 5, by Harold Mattingley, but it's a second edition prepared by A.G. Carson and Philip Hill. You will find here the same sestertius for Divus Pertinax. It's here with the eagle, yes, and we have here a footnote, probably genuine, at worst a cast of an original. So, Mattingley had already some doubts about it, but he still gave a number. If we compare these two pieces, so this cast medal with the specimen from the British Museum, you will see that we have exactly the same shape. Only difference is that this specimen is better preserved, but both of them are modern, or rather early modern cast counterfeits. I will continue the topic of forgeries of ancient coins in some next episodes. But for today, it's all. So thank you very much, and I hope see you soon. Bye. Walete.